Hey guys, it's Britt. Tonight I'm here to explain to you why I support cancel culture in some situations. If you're interested in hearing my thoughts, please keep watching. All right, you guys, so as usual, I was getting ready to shut it all down and I received a comment on my Nikki Philippi video that said, "You support canceled culture." And I wanted to talk about it with you guys. So I jumped on here. We're going to talk about it. I don't think this video is going to be really long. But first, I want to acknowledge that cancel culture has a very bad aura around it, and it is attached to a lot of negative feelings for a lot of people. And it's also tied to outrage and upset. And I don't necessarily look at it in that way. I've always said I don't call it cancel culture. I call it holding people accountable culture. However, there are some scenarios where I would cross over into cancel culture because there have been certain people on YouTube or Instagram or whatever. There are certain people that have done things that, in my opinion, equates to them no longer deserving to have the recognition, the fame, and the fortune that comes along with being a social media personality. So first I want to read what the internet says about cancel culture, and then we'll go into the second part of this conversation. Cancel culture or call out culture is a modern form of ostracism in which someone is thrust out of social or professional circles, whether it be online, on social media, or in person. Those subject to this ostracism are said to have been canceled. The expression cancel culture has mostly negative connotations and is commonly used in debates on free speech and censorship. I'm a little tongue-tied tonight. I've been talking a lot today. The notion of cancel culture is a variant on the term call-out culture and constitutes a form of boycotting or shunning involving an individual, often a celebrity, who is deemed to have acted or spoken in a questionable or controversial manner. The concept of cancel culture has been criticized on the grounds that people claiming to have been canceled often remain in power and continue their careers as before. The practice has also been defeated as an exercise of free speech. So obviously it explained pretty much, kind of how I look at cancel culture. I think to most people, you say, oh, so-and-so is canceled, and it's very negative. There is a lot of negative emotions. But the way that I look at it is, cancel culture doesn't usually exist. There are a few scenarios where people have been, called out. I look at someone like Micah Stauffer. She disappeared from the internet after rehoming her adoptive son. Y'all know the Micah Stauffer story, so I'm not going to go into it tonight. But, so if you want to say that Micah was canceled, then yes, cancel culture held her accountable, as they should have. If you look at someone like Jeffree Star, who has been canceled over and over and over again, he's still very wealthy, he's still in power, and people still adore him. So I don't think that it works across the board, because if it did, then we would see more personalities disappearing from the internet. When we see these influencers, beauty gurus, celebrities doing things that upsets the public and they get called out for it, 9 times out of 10, it's holding people accountable culture. Because at the end of the day, when you're talking about someone who is an influencer, the public, the internet public, has given them their platform. The internet has in fact built the platform that these people are standing on. And so therefore, those people definitely have a say in, okay, do we still want to support this person or not? If you're gonna have a platform and then you're gonna do something out of line, then you should know that people are going to call you out for it. And typically, I'm not saying all the time, but typically, if someone is being called out by so many people, it's because they've done something that deserves to be called out. And they deserve to come to their platform and explain their position, or, in some situations, people have lost sponsorships and they've lost brand deals for a short period of time because brands don't want to support certain individuals. Look at Shannon Rose. Nobody wants to work with her because of the type of content that she was making, not the field that she was in, because y'all know I'm never going to shame sex workers, but it's the type of content that she was making that has caused brands to not want to work with her, because there are other people who have retired from the adult entertainment industry and they still work with brands. So for Shannon Rose to say, oh, it's because I was in PRN, but it's not really, because there are other people that have retired from that industry and, work with brands, and they are influencers to a certain degree. So the whole idea of cancel culture, no, I don't think that it works. If you want to say, does it work or does it not work? I don't think that it works 9 times out of 10. But if I was going to say, do I support cancel culture? I do, for certain situations. Do I think that people should be trying to cancel someone because of one wrong tweet that they made when they were 16 and they've never done anything since then? No, I don't think so, because we've all done things in the past that we're not proud of. And if you say you haven't, then, good for you, I guess. But I think that most of us have done at least one thing that we look back and think, if I could go back, I would probably tell 16-year-old Britt to not do that thing. It would, just be a lot better that way. So, I don't agree with that side of it. But, another example, if you look at Nikki Philippi, that's the comment that was on that video that sparked this whole idea for this video. With her, I do believe that she should not have a platform. And some people might say, oh, you're being completely dramatic, you're out of line for saying that, you're, part of the mob or whatever. When you put down a healthy dog and people put together the facts before the event happened, and they can see exactly, the demeanor of this dog, and, the fact that you put it down because the dog, nipped at your son, even though your son had pulled the dog's ear and given him cauliflower ear, and your son was, trying to take food from the dog, but then you say the dog was aggressive and you're doing a photo shoot with the dog right before you put the dog down. Like, all of these things added up and people were enraged. You don't F with dogs. You don't F with animals, I should say. Y'all, I always say dogs because a dog is the only animal that I have. But when I say that, I really mean all animals. You don't F with animals online. That's just the way it is. People are very passionate, and, people want to give animals a voice because obviously animals are mistreated and not taken care of. And, people want to be a voice for animals, and that's always the way it's been. It will be long past my lifetime and your lifetime too. So the thing that, Nikki and Dan did was disgusting, and people were upset by it, and companies do not want to pay people like Nikki and Dan to advertise their products. I think a lot of influencers, the whole issue with this tagline of being canceled is that any ounce of criticism or any amount of negative feedback or being called out, the influencer will tag it as being canceled. And as far as actually having a large number of people come for you and, you know, make a whole bunch of videos and all of this kind of stuff, there's not a whole lot of influencers that have been attempted to be canceled, at least not that I can think of. There's several, there's a good handful, but it does seem like a lot of them are like, oh, I was canceled. Y'all tried to cancel me, cancel culture. It's this whole thing. It's, if you put out a video saying, I was canceled, or you try to cancel me, that's obviously going to gain more views and more money for the influencer than if they said, y'all held me accountable and here's what I have to say. You know, it's all SEO, it's all marketing, it's all for clicks and views, and we know the gig. You know, most of us know the gig by now. So either way, this is sort of just like a jumbled mess of my thoughts when it comes to cancel culture. Does cancel culture work? Is it just people wanting to hold influencers accountable on a platform that they helped to build? So please leave all your thoughts down below. I definitely love to, you know, hear from you guys. And I also think that there's a lot of people that will dogpile on someone who makes a very small error, and it's sort of like making a mountain out of like an anthill. You know what I mean? Like, so there's a lot of different like subsets to this whole idea of cancel culture, but I will definitely speak on this again. But for now, I want to know your thoughts. So if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.